All right, everybody, in this example, we are going to solve this word problem using a proportion. So the word problem goes as follows. Bart is painting his house gray. It takes a ratio of 2 parts black paint to 5 parts white paint to get the right shade of gray. If Bart purchases 9 gallons of black paint, how many gallons of white paint will he need to make the right shade of gray? First thing I like to do in a situation like this is get a sense of what are the important pieces of information in the question. So as I scan along here, the first thing that's important is that it takes a ratio of 2 parts black to 5 parts white to make the right shade of gray. So what I'm going to do is just put some kind of a marking there indicating that it's important information here. So I'll put a little underline there, 2 parts of black paint to 5 parts of white paint. There's the 2, all right? And then it says, as we read on, there's if he purchases 9 gallons of black paint, how many gallons of white paint will he need? So how many tells me there's a question there. How many gallons of white paint will he need? All right. I'd like to take a look at what's given and what is being asked. Or what we're trying to find. So let's just say that right about here in the question, this whole section here is information that they are giving us. They're telling us that it's a ratio of 2 to 5. So this is given information. All right, and then let's fix that there. And then let's look at the information that we're trying to find. So we're trying to find out, using the information 9 gallons of black paint, how many gallons of white paint will he need? This is the information that we're trying to find. When I'm doing a proportion, you guys have already learned a little bit about proportions, and now I'm going to use what you've learned to do this word problem. I like to write down a formula for proportions just to help me place everything correctly. It looks kind of like this. If you're going to create a ratio with black paint compared to white paint, let's do this. Black paint compared to white paint. All right? Let's just make sure black so is on top or white so is on the bottom. And the formula could look something like this. And we'll say that the black paint in the given information over top of the white paint in the given information. So black paint compared to white paint in the given information, and then black paint compared to white paint in, let's say, the finding information. Now, this is not some official formula. I just kind of use this and create this to kind of set myself up for success. If you mix these things up, then you cannot get the right answer. For instance, if in your question, let's say in the given information you put black on top and white on the bottom, and then in your answer you put white on top and black on the bottom, when you go to solve this proportion, you're not going to get the right answer. So it's important that we set it up like this. Black's on top, white's on the bottom, or all the whites on top and all the blacks on the bottom. It doesn't matter as long as you keep it consistent. All right. So let's plug something into this here that we have in our question. So first and foremost, do I have any of these two? Well, I have the black that's given in the ratio is 2 parts black. So I will put 2 for the black. And the white is 5 parts white. So 2 to 5 is the ratio of black to white in the given. And that's saying that's the same ratio or the same comparison, same relationship between what's in the amount that he's going to mix for the house. Let's see. In the finding information, do we have the black information that we want to find? No, we don't know. We do actually. We have 9 gallons of black. So we have 9 gallons of black compared to how many gallons of white? We don't know. So let's just leave it as white. Now what we have is a basic proportion set up here. So 2 compared to 5 is the same as 9 compared to what? What amount? And to solve this, we're going to just use our cross multiply and divide strategy that we've shown you in previous videos. So I'm simply going to look for the variable, look across on an angle. That is going to be our divisor. So that means that the 9 and the 5 are going to be our multipliers. So cross multiply and then divide looks like this. W, our white paint, is going to be the 5 times the 9 divided by the 2. Because the 2 is across from the W, it's the divisor. Alright, to solve this now, we can simply do this calculation. 5 times 9 is 45, and 45 divided by 2 is going to be 22.5. So W is going to be 22.5, or you could have said 22.5. But we're not done. We have to make sure that we communicate to the person who's reading our work what this is. 22.5 what? Well, when we look at the question, they ask us, how many gallons of white paint will he need? So we're going to say he needs 22.5 gallons of white paint, just to be clear and to communicate properly. Let's take a look and see if this is reasonable. Does it make sense that when we look at our original setup here, black compared to white is 2 compared to 5, and in our actual painting for the house it's 9. That's going to now be at 22.5. 2 compared to 5, is that consistent with 9 compared to 22.5? It's looking like this 2 and the 5 is just a little bit more than double the 2. And it's looking like the 22.5 is a little bit more than double the 9. That tells me that I most likely got this answer correct, that it's in proportion. And that is basically how we would set up a question like that, solving for a proportion, and also how to take a word problem and prepare to put it into this proportion formula that I've created here. Thanks a lot for watching.